Audemars Piguet just handed the keys to Genta's masterpiece, the most important silhouette in modern watchmaking, to Swatch. And Swatch turned it into a pocket watch. Not a wristwatch, a pocket watch, on a lanyard in bioceramic. I've been in this industry long enough to see things I thought were impossible. This is one of them. But here's the question no one is asking. Is this a desperate play for relevance, or the most calculated act of brand self-defense AP has ever pulled off? The answer isn't what you think. Let's dig into it. Rewind to early 2026. Swatch starts dropping these cryptic ads. No price, no product, just colorful lanyards. Then comes a teaser with that font that you cannot miss. Those O's, then that A that overlaps. That's the Royal Oak font. That's not a coincidence, it's a declaration. The community did the math. It wasn't a last minute idea. Swatch registered Royal Pop with the WIPO back in June 2024. This was 2 years of staging. They're calling it disruptive, which is the polite way of saying, we made a Royal Oak that you can carry in your pocket. We know what happens next. We saw the Moon Swatch in 2022 and the Blancpain in 23. Lines around the block from Tokyo to New York, but this one is different. The Speedmaster is a legend, sure, but the Royal Oak is a cultural flashpoint. It's what rappers name drop and athletes wear courtside. It's what everybody flaunts, especially in Miami. One person, selected boutiques only, no online sales. That's a recipe for the secondary market that's going to go completely unhinged within the 48 hours of its release. I wouldn't be surprised if we see these prices skyrocketing. Here's the facts. 8 pocket watches, bioceramic cases, built around an octagonal DNA. The 8 screws, the 8 sides, each colorway is named after the number 8 in a different language. Octo Rosa, Hue Blanc, Octo Negro, you get the idea. From a creative direction standpoint, it's solid. It honors the geometry of the original. The material is bioceramic, 2/3 ceramic, 1/3 biosourced material, which means recycled plastic. If you've held a Moon Swatch, you know the feel. It's smooth, scratch resistant, and matte. But let's be direct, it's not metal. It lacks the coldness and density that communicates high-end luxury. It's a well-finished product, but it's not a substitute for steel. There's just some romance to steel that bioceramic doesn't have. They're offering 2 configurations, Lepine, open face, and Sauvignon, hunter case with a hinged cover. This tells me that someone actually thought about the ritual of checking the time. The real story is the movement. This runs on a hand-wound version of the System 51. Every System 51 before this was an automatic movement. Swatch literally re-engineered their flagship mechanical movement to remove the central screw just for this release. Winding a pocket watch with a Royal Oak DNA and the movement that has never existed? That's a legitimate horological detail. Let's talk about the pocket watch factor. People are split. Both sides are wrong. Critics say it's a gimmick and defenders say it's fashion forward. Here's the reality. In 2026, we all carry our time in our pockets on a phone anyways. This isn't a tool from 1910. It's a jewelry piece. And it's an accessory that you hang from a belt loop or a bag strap. Swatch isn't trying to replace your watch. They're creating a new way to carry a brand name. Compared to the real thing, a steel 15500, $30,000 retail. If you're lucky to find one. The watch has gravity. The way the light hits the brushed surfaces is irreplaceable. The Royal Pop doesn't try to replicate that, and honestly, that's his strength. By making it a pocket watch, the separation is explicit. You aren't wearing a cheap version of a luxury watch. You're wearing a different object that shares a bloodline. It's more honest than most collaborations. I spent a lot of time thinking about why AP did this. AP is independent. They don't answer to shareholders or a luxury group. They've built their entire mythology on exclusivity. So why hand this to Swatch? Here's what the hype chasers are missing. AP's legal grip on the Royal Oak silhouette is slipping. They've defended the octagonal bezel for decades, winning multi-million-dollar cases. But they lost their trademark protection in Japan in 2024, and they lost it again in the US in 2025. The design is now a contested territory. You can't stop people from making lookalikes. What's your next move? You do it yourself. You flood the market with a sanctioned magenta DNA version at an accessible price before the fakes commoditize your design. Royal Pop isn't just a marketing play, it's a chess move for brand self-defense. And look, the real threat to AP isn't the pocket watch. It's indifference. If a Royal Pop gets a 20-year-old interested in the Genta story or the history of mechanical movements, that's not the death to the brand. That's the birth of the next generation of collectors. My final verdict here is 7 out of 10. The creative is there, the hand-wound movement is a genuine surprise. The naming convention is clever, but bioceramic will never feel like steel. The pocket watch format is a usability hurdle that some people just won't get past. But as a cultural statement, this is the most significant release of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if this outpaces the original Moon Swatch on the secondary market on the first week. Now, I want to hear from you guys. If you own a steel Royal Oak, does this bother you? And if you've been looking for a way into the brand, is this a real entry point or just a consolidation prize? Drop your comments below. I'll see you guys on the 16th.